Hello, everyone. Welcome to Barca News. It is March 21st, 2026, and the Camp Nou project has entered its final stage. Also, Inaki Pena has lost his starting spot, and that, of course, is concerning for Barcelona. And finally, Deco has met with the agent of a La Liga goalkeeper for a possible signing during this summer transfer market. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Bo. I'm currently in the beautiful city of Barcelona. Today I watched the Barca Femení versus Athletic Club de Bilbao 7-1 victory of Barca Femení. Total blowout, 8 goals total. I made a video. I took my camera. I filmed the Stade Johan Cruyff. I filmed the match. I got 6 out of the 8 goals on video. So stay tuned to the channel because I'm going to be doing a whole video about what the Stade Johan Cruyff is like. And of course, tomorrow, Barcelona versus Rayo Vallecano. I will be there at the Spotify Camp Nou. And I'm also taking my camera with me. And I'm also going to be making a video about the current state of our home stadium, our fortress, the historic Camp Nou. So stay tuned for the channel. To the channel for that video as well. Now, speaking of the Camp Nou, let's begin with the news because, ladies and gentlemen, the Camp Nou project is entering its final stage. Now, as you know by now, the first 2 rings are fully done. They're fully renovated. They're completely open. We have a 62,000 people capacity. Now, the 3rd ring is being built. And in fact, it's being reported that most of the concrete structure for the 3rd ring is already in place. There's only one small part from the 3rd ring that still doesn't have the concrete structure, which is above south goal. In fact, you can see it here in the picture on your screen. That's the only small section that still doesn't have the concrete. But once the concrete is done in that section, the full 3rd ring will be ready to start being built. Now, of course, the concrete is the part that takes the longest. You have to set up the foundation, all the metal, pour all the cement, wait for it to dry, and then once that's done, well, here comes the easy part: installing seats, painting, running electrical cables. That's the easier part. So just know that the 3rd ring, it's entering its final stage, and that's great news. Now, it's expected that the 3rd ring will be done by the end of this year, which means that the Spotify Camp Nou will reach its maximum capacity by the end of this year, which is 105,000 people. It will be a huge stadium. Now, what does this mean for the stadium? That means that if the 3rd ring is done by this end of this year, 2027 is when we can start seeing the building of the roof. Now, what will that look like? So this is what's going to look like. The first half of 2027, they're going to be, setting up the roof installation, building all the metal, the beams, everything that's going to pretty much carrying all that weight. Second half of 2027, we're talking about 2027-2028 season, right? So August 2027 until the end of 2027, that's when the actual roof is going to be installed, and that's when the Camp Nou is not going to be used. The Camp Nou is not going to be able to host matches. Laporta has made it very clear they don't want to go back to the Montjuic, so instead it's expected that Barcelona will play at the Stade Johan Cruyff, which currently has a capacity of 6,000 people. However, as Jan Laporta has announced, there are plans of expanding the Johan Cruyff by 10,000 more seats, increasing its capacity from 6,000 to 16,000 people. Now, of course, it's still going to mean big financial losses for Barcelona because going from the Camp Nou that's going to have 105,000 capacity at the time of the beginning of 2027-2028 season, going down to 16,000, I mean, that is absolutely huge. But again, Barcelona don't want to go back to the Montjuic. Now, beginning of 2028, that's when the Camp Nou should be completely done, roof installed, full capacity, and that's when the team is expected to go back. And again, as Laporta reported, once the Camp Nou is fully done, it's expected to generate around 450 million euros per season. Huge financial boost from our home stadium. Now, more updates in regards to the Camp Nou. Right now, there are currently being complaints about the first few rows of the north goal, where you cannot see the field. You cannot even see the other side of the field. So Barcelona are talking about blocking 300 seats until they figure out a solution to increase the visibility. That's 300 seats that Barcelona will not be able to sell tickets to. So bad news in that regards, but the club admitting that they knew about this problem, that they expected it, but they wanted to first see how it plays out. So they sold tickets to it. Fans complained. So now they're going to block those 300 seats until they can find a permanent solution. Anyway, so let's move on to the next bit of news, because of course tomorrow the match is against Rayo Vallecano. But before we talk about tomorrow's match, after that is the FIFA international break. And of course we do have the call out for which Barcelona players will be joining the Spanish national team. And check out the call out for the Spanish national team, because look at the list of goalkeepers: Unai Simon, David Raya, Alex Remiro, and Joan Garcia, ladies and gentlemen. Joan Garcia getting the call out for the FIFA international break. And of course, what's surprising about this list is that there are 4 goalkeepers. Coaches usually call 3 goalkeepers, not 4, which tells you that right now, most likely Luis de la Fuente is trying to figure out who will be his goalkeepers for the World Cup. Now, if my opinion, Unai Simon, great goalkeeper, but I think his time is up. I think right now it's going to have to be between David Raya and Joan Garcia. To me, of course, Joan Garcia, but I am a little bit biased because I'm a Barca fan. But I think those should be the 2 options for the starting goalkeeper, David Raya or Joan Garcia, because Unai Simon, sorry, bro, but your time is up. Now, more players, because in the defense we have Llorente, Pedro Porro, Laporte, Pau Cubarsí, Huijsen, Mosquera, Cucurella, and Grimaldo. In the midfield, we have Rodrigo, Subimendi, Pedri, Fornals, Carlos Soler, Dani Olmo, and Fermín López. In the attack, we have Jeremy, Alex Baena, Barranteja, Víctor Muñoz, Oyarzábal, Ferran Torres, Borja Iglesias, and Lamine Yamal. So the Barcelona players who will be called up to the Spanish national team for this break are Joan Garcia, Pau Cubarsí, Fermín López, Dani Olmo, Pedri, Ferran Torres, and Lamine Yamal. Ladies and gentlemen, I gotta say, Spain to me is one of the favorites to win the World Cup. They have one hell of a squad. Of course, we'll see how they'll do in the World Cup under the guidance of the idiot Luis de la Fuente. Now, that's not all, because there's another Barca player who has been called up. This one for the Spain under-21 team, and it's no other than Marc Bernal, who's getting his second call-up. Of course, to me, I would rather he not get called up so he can get rest. But of course, this just goes to show how great he's doing. I doubt he will be in the under-21 squad any longer. I'm pretty sure pretty soon Marc Bernal will start getting called up to the national team, or the first squad, or first team, or the senior team, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Anyways, let's move on to the next bit of news, because returning to tomorrow's match against Rayo Vallecano, today the team finalized their last training session ahead of tomorrow's match, and Joan Garcia trained with his teammates. As you know, Joan Garcia got subbed out with fears of injury against Newcastle. That was on, what was it, Wednesday. Thursday, medical exams were performed. It turned out that he was not injured. He trained separately, and then today he trained with the group, which shows that he truly is not injured, and he should be starting tomorrow. Now, that's not the same thing for Eric Garcia, who also was subbed out against Newcastle, who also underwent medical exams. It turned out he was not injured. He also trained by himself on Friday, but today, Saturday, he actually trained once again by himself. So it looks like Eddie Garcia will not be playing tomorrow. He will be part of the squad list, but most likely Hansi Flick will not use him until after the FIFA international break. Now, speaking of defenders, Patricio Pacifico once again being called up to the first team. Of course, Patricio Pacifico, Uruguayan left back. He can also play as a left center back. Barcelona signed him this winter transfer market, and once again, he got called up to the training. We'll see if he'll be part of the squad tomorrow, but Patricio Pacifico continues to train with the first team. Of course, he did look a little bit lost in the training session when they were doing the rondos, but of course, he just arrived in the club, so it's going to be a while for him until he fully adapts. Now, it's expected that Xavi Espart could be getting his second startup position tomorrow. We'll have to wait and see. Of course, again, tomorrow I'm going to be at the Camp Nou, so hopefully I get to see him play some minutes. Now, speaking of goalkeepers, we do have to talk about Inaki Pena because he has lost his starting position. Now, as you know, Inaki Pena is currently on loan with Elche. He had interest from both Como and Elche over the summer transfer market. Last summer transfer market, he opted to go to Elche so he can train under Eder Sarabia. Eder Sarabia gave him the starting position. He was doing really well, but these last few matches, 5 matches to be more specific, Matias Dituro, the Argentine, has become the starting goalkeeper for Elche. And this, of course, is bad news because Inaki Pena is on loan until the end of the season. And if he loses, well, like he has already, starting spot, most likely he will be coming back to Barcelona, which means Barcelona are going to have to figure out what to do with him come next summer. Now, while we're still on the topic of goalkeepers, let's talk about Alex Remiro because it's being reported that Deco met with the agent of the goalkeeper for a possible signing during this summer transfer market. Now, Alex Remiro is the goalkeeper, the starting goalkeeper for Real Sociedad. He's 30 years old, really good goalkeeper. And his contract expires at the end of, in the summer of 2027, which means this summer he will be entering the final year of his contract. So Deco sees this as a great market opportunity to sign Alex Remiro to become, the second goalkeeper because they expect that Wojciech Szczesny will be leaving the club during this summer transfer market. And as such, Deco considering the signing of Remiro to become the second goalkeeper. My question to Deco is, what the fuck are we doing here? We have a million goalkeepers. Do we really need another one? I mean, yeah, sure. If Wojciech Szczesny does end up leaving, we'll still have Mark ter Stegen, who's going to come back from loan from Girona. We have Inaki Pena, who's going to come back from loan from Elche. We have Jakubushvili, who's going to come back from loan as well. We have Astralaga, who's also going to be coming back from loan. We have Diego Cochin, who's already at the club. And you want to bring Alex Remiro? Anyways, you guys let me know what you think. That is all for this video. I'm going live in a few more moments, so stay tuned to the channel. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, and as always, peace. Come on.